Hello, welcome to the Chatting with Dr. Stevel show. I'm your host, Dr. Stevel. Yeah, finger quotes didn't work there. Today's guest is a father, a husband, a teacher, a mild mannered comic book writer. He also claims to be the creator of Aurora Man, the savior of Saskatchewan. Please welcome Jeff Burton, or should I say, Aurora Man.
Oh, hey now. You just watch yourself there, Doctor.
No, I'm calling you out, dude. I mean, seriously. Superman's got those glasses thingies, right? But you're not even hiding, and people are still none the wiser. I mean, look, you're both based in Humboldt, Saskatchewan. You're both the father of, like, a baseball team. You're a school teacher, and the thing that people don't notice the most is the freaking beard and his super body. I'm on to you. Okay. Now just hand over that staff and everything will be good and I'll let you go.
Which
Okay.
staff? This one that's up here?
Yes, that one.
Yeah,
I
you're
have a
gonna.
mini version right now, which I will, like, practice with. Zap.
Well, you just keep practicing, and if you want the staff, all I can say is come get it.
Oh, I'll be there. It's going to take
Come
longer
on.
because I can't fly now, but I'm on the new fly zone. Yeah.
Exactly. Come on down. I'll be waiting.
Welcome, Jeff. That was a bit of fun.
It was. It was great. I loved it.
Cool. So Aurora Man, I mean, this is a freaking awesome character. I'm totally into Canadian superheroes, and you've created this superhero at a time where the resurgence happened.
Yeah, it was just a really cool time frame for it to happen because as Aurora Man came out, there was this big push in Canadian independent comic books and Canadian superheroes and all of that all at once. And it was just, it seemed perfect hand in hand that this was happening.
What inspired you to create Aurora Man? Like, I mean, like,
Well, a big part of it came from the fact that I was really finding that I just couldn't find good comic books that I enjoyed anymore. The modern stuff from the big two companies, as far as superhero stuff, just it seemed tired and done, and I wasn't enjoying it, and I wasn't being entertained by it. So I just
oh,
felt that
okay,
it was time for something different. The idea was given to me by a friend of mine, as far as, well, why don't you create this character based in Humboldt and stuff, and it just snowballed out from that with help from a couple other people, and all of a sudden, yeah, I'm writing the comic books that I want to read. So it just
okay.
kind of.
Did that? What? Oh, correct. You're listening to us, right? Aren't you?
Nope, I hit the wrong thing as I was closing something off.
I know. It's like I heard that laugh and I'm going, "Wow, that's a sexy laugh." I kind of like that. Whoa, it's just amazing.
It is
um,
pretty good. I like it.
is it a coincidence that Aurora Man looks like you, or did you purposely do this?
The guys that I was working with when we were going over the initial creation of the character were very insistent that, um, because we were going to make him that he was a teacher and all this kind of stuff. And then Andrew and Ted, the guys I was working with, were very much, well, no, we want to keep this, it's going to be based on you kind of thing. So he's going to look like you because you're an everyday kind of guy. You're not the typical superhero, all the big buff bod or anything like that. I'm the dad bod and stuff, and unassuming in that way and things. So they were they had to convince me a little bit because I mean I'm the one out there promoting it, and I don't want to feel don't want it to come off that I'm being super egotistical, that I'm this superhero or anything.
I'm the every common man superhero. Out of my way, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Yeah,
stop. I'm just like you, but just stay away from me.
yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And how long you been doing this?
We are coming up on year number, or the anniversary of the fourth anniversary of our release of issue 0. So next year will be the big 5 year, which is pretty awesome. It seems like it just started, yet here we go, 5 years. Well, now 4 years later. So it's exciting. It's awesome. I never anticipated the reaction that it's getting, the fan base that's growing constantly from it. Kind of caught me by surprise. I mean, I knew I was going to like it, and I knew that Ted and Andrew were going to like it, but how much everybody that has jumped on board is really into it, and the reaction that I keep getting out, new issue after new story and new idea that I bring to the character, it's phenomenal.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, write what you know, right? Is that it? Is that why
Yeah,
everything is kind of based on Aurora Man?
yeah, exactly. That's the adage I always take, right? They always tell writers to write what they know, so that's what I'm doing.
Okay, so you know about giant dead moose, ravaging a city, or killer
You know,
snowman? That's something that happens.
yeah, sure, why not? It's Saskatchewan. We have weird stuff that happens here, and we're far enough away from like all of you guys in Ontario and stuff that you don't think twice about us. So
No, we don't. We just like killer snowman. Yeah, it seems Saskatchewan to us. That's why we never go there. That makes sense.
yeah,
Seems
exactly.
logical.
Your cities are too big. They have no snow in them anyway. So
Hmm. Yeah, we just got in the wrong places actually. I
yeah,
wish we had
exactly.
no snow. It's not like out west where they like snow. What's that?
Yeah,
Something we have
exactly.
in our coffee, you know, in real coffee, Tim Hortons. Yeah.
Oh, see, look at that.
So compare. You're in Humboldt, right? So many of the places, the backgrounds in Humboldt are in your comic book official
Yep,
places. It's
you
similar
betcha.
to Jason Liu's The Human Lizard. I mean, it's based in Toronto, and everybody's enjoying it because they see their street or their subways or their favorite stores are in there, and he's like, he's put it in there subtly with, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, exactly, and I love Pitiful Human Lizard. It's probably one of my favorite comics, and yeah, a lot of uh, a lot of the ideas because it came out just before I did Aurora Man, and it was a huge inspiration because here was a guy that was doing kind of the idea that I wanted, including that kind of stuff, the actual cityscapes and recognizable landmarks and things like that, and he was writing a fun superhero comic book, so.
Oh, exactly. And these Canadian superheroes, which I really want to like back because we've lacked Canadian superheroes, don't is not like throwing it in your face. There's no big maple leafs all over you guys.
Well, yeah, we kind of keep it pretty subtle. I mean, he had Aurora Man has it on the back of his jacket is about the only thing. Occasionally, depending on the artist and stuff, sometimes on a T-shirt and stuff. But yeah, it's not like we're running around in the red and white and the whole Captain Canuck or Vindicator from Alpha Flight Guardian and Vindicator and stuff like that. It's not like we're wearing the maple leaf. We just subtly
Oh,
have nods to it.
well, anyone that's worn white, I mean, white gets dirty a lot, and if you're fighting a lot, I mean, it's. Karen Jang asks, "Did you write stories as a hobby before creating Aurora Man, like stories for your kids?"
Okay, I've always been a writer. I wrote, stories with comic books characters and movie characters when I was a kid, and I was a big action figure collector. So I wrote stories with my favorite comic book characters as toys, and lots of times, because my drawing skills are a bit weaker, I would take photos of them and create like little photo comics that I wrote stories for and stuff with my action figures. And then before I got into writing Aurora Man, I actually published a book of poetry. So
Oh, what kind of
yeah,
poetry? Like, is it
just
a
it's
man from Venus whose body was shaped like a no?
no, not nothing quite like that. Just observational poetry. I was very much just kind of influenced by whatever I saw in my surroundings. I was in university at the time as a parent, so I was working a lot at the school. So I wasn't bringing homework home when I came home from school and stuff. And I just, conversations or, people's everyday things and goings on and stuff. And I just kind of found it interesting and started writing. So I hope
Wow.
that helped, Karen. And yeah, I do a lot of storytelling with my kids and stuff. And we all, as a household, love to read. So, I mean, I have a pile of bookcases over here in my office that are full of books and graphic novels and comic books. And we've got bookcases upstairs that the kids have all their books. Plus, they have bookcases in their rooms for their personal books.
Wow, that's pretty good. Most people have video games and they don't even look at books anymore.
We got piles of those too, but the kids are pretty good at leveling it off nicely. So
And did you find that this COVID-19 thing is affecting you at all, or is it making things better, easier, harder?
a little bit of both. When it first started, I dove right into working on some stuff. I had some things that were kind of in the middle of being worked on, and I jumped in and I finished those off and stuff. And then as time has kind of worn on, the grind of all the changes through this has kind of worn me out a little bit sometimes. I mean, I'm working from home, teaching from home, so it's hard sometimes to sit down and be like, okay, I want to work more on the computer to do some more comic book work, but I've been on the computer all day teaching. Um, so it's some days I'm just like, no, I don't want to do anything. Other days I'm just energized. I have so many things working. There's an official Aurora Man website that I'm just about ready to launch. I've got more episodes of the audio comic, so the podcast that I do. We've got 3 episodes there. I've got 3 more that are just about ready to go. And then I've got a new project, a secret project that I'll be launching hopefully in June, which is a little, yeah, exactly, a little spin on the audio comic, but it's going to be appearing on YouTube. So we'll see how everybody thinks of that.
So your audio comics, are they like stories that you already have, and then you just like get yourself and other actors to do the voices, kind of like the
They're
old docudramas?
Yeah, they're kind of like an old radio play, things like
Right.
that, like the Shadow and stuff. I have a narrator that narrates the stories, and then yeah, we've got voice actors and sound effects and music and all that kind of stuff in there,
Oh,
so you can listen to a comic book story. And so far, the 3 episodes that we have are unreleased material, so this has not been seen in the comic book yet or anything like that. But the next episode that we do, episode 4, is actually I adapted a story that appears in issue number 1 for the audio, so you'll be able to follow along in the comic book to the audio comic and listen to while it happens, kind of like the old storybooks on records kind of deal and stuff like that.
wow, that's pretty good. That
It's
sounds amazing. I mean, that's a cool thing right now because everyone's got iPads, right? So now they can listen to stories instead of like
Yeah.
news broadcasters or conspiracy theories and whatnot, as people do when they're working and whatnot,
Yeah.
or more Lady Gaga. Or
Exactly. Now you can listen to some Adventures of Aurora Man and get your Saskatchewan superhero fill while you're, driving down the road or doing your work.
so with Aurora Man, are you a celebrity over in Saskatchewan?
I don't know about celebrity. I don't view myself that way. Um,
No.
it's definitely gained some recognition where when I go do presentations in schools or libraries, which I've been touring the province doing, um, you know you'll get kids that are like, hey, yeah, I heard about you, or I'll invariably find somebody that has seen a television interview that I've done or heard a radio interview that I've done, and they're just like, yeah, that's really cool. And I'd like to think that I make a lasting impression every time I do a presentation at a school or a library and stuff. So
Right before we go on, we've got a few people watching, and many are watching on my Stevil channel. Now, StreamYard does not allow me to see comments on personal profiles. So I have also a Chatting with Dr. Stevil channel, which this is going live as well. If you guys want to log into that and say hello, ask questions, I'll be able to see it and post it on screen, as I did for Alex, who's giving me a clap right now. And you can ask any questions about Aurora Man and tell me how awesome I look in my suit because it's about me. Not really.
always, always, always.
I just want to get more questions because normally a lot of people are saying hello and asking questions and I can't see it and I feel bad. They feel like I'm dissing them. And I'm evil, but you need a following.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you've also teamed up with a whole lot of other comic book creators and gotten all your superheroes together in one big world. You had a massive team up a while ago.
Yeah, we did. We have a group of creators that have formed a group called the Canadian Comic Book Alliance, or the CCBA, and going on like 2 years ago now, we created a story where all the heroes got together, kind of like the old crossover stories of the past, and there's a common threat, and they get together to work together to kind of solve that. And we released the Adventures of Aurora Man Annual #1, which was just a
Right?
small snippet of this story. And we've actually kind of got the band back together this year, and we're sitting down to plan out the whole story so that we can get back to the rest. As there's used to be a radio show out here that I listened to when I was working in the fields with my dad, and it was always, and now you know the rest of the story, where it would talk about interesting facts and different things like that, but there was always that deeper understanding. And yeah, that was the catch line, and now you know the rest of the story. And that's kind of where I'm going with when I approached getting everybody back together to do this crossover, was let's tell everybody the rest of the story, because that annual kind of dives in the middle of it, and people want to know what happened before that led up to it and what happens afterwards to finish the story.
Yeah, I was kind of curious with that. I was like, I didn't see that. What the heck?
Yeah, it was a fun, just kind of like
Uh-oh,
um
sorry, I made a boo-boo. Okay, jump to this page, back off my gaga. Sorry.
it's all good, it's all good.
So now we're actually going to have a proper. You're going to use that same story, and you're going to get everyone together.
Yeah,
Are
and
they
we're
all
gonna
going to
have
go in their own comics as well?
well, there are tie-in pieces that fits right into there and stuff, so
Oh, you got a compliment.
well,
And
thank you.
before he mentioned,
Go ahead.
okay, I was just going to read. And before he mentioned the audio comics, I said he has a great radio voice and should make an audiobook of his poetry. Because haba haba. Wow.
Well, thank you, Eve. I have been complimented and told many times, especially after my radio interview appearances, that I do apparently have a pretty good voice for radio, which is what kind of got me into making the audio comics. Being told enough that you have a good voice for stuff like that really helped inspire that piece of it. So I kind of have fun with that. And yeah, maybe I'll do an audiobook of my poetry. I haven't dug that book out for a while. It could be something fun.
Oh, absolutely. Now, as I was saying, are you going to get all the heroes to have a little story in their own comic books, or we're just going to have one massive trade for
Well,
this big crossover?
with this big crossover, the way that it was written, there was references to some of these characters in their own books and stuff like that. Kind of like, oh, this took place in whatever it was, Jason of New York #9, and this took place in the
Yeah.
Jack Grimm giant size beach party spectacular. I don't know that we'll actually release all those as individual comics, but we'll have those individual comics as part of, because I think what we're going to do is we're just going to release this aim to release this as one collected book, and just have everybody's little individual pieces in there, as opposed to having to have all these other creators release all these individual pieces themselves. I think we're just going to kind of pool together and do one big book, is where the plan is sitting right now.
Oh, right on. I think Big Nick also had a bit of a crossover at one time, right?
Yeah, Big Nick is involved in that too, for sure. And there's a 3-way crossover that hasn't been released between Aurora Man and 2 other Canadian superheroes, Big Nick being one of them.
All right.
Yes, exactly. Another furry kind of named hero. That one is awesome. The story is great. We've written it and everything. It's just a matter of timing now to sit down and say, okay, where are we going to, how are we going to do this? How do we want to do the final thing? And for everybody involved to have time, because Sharon Gauthier would be working on the art, and she's got a pretty full slate right now. And of course, Andrew Thomas is very busy with his projects and his addition to his family and stuff. So it's all timing, and it all happened when it's right to happen is what I keep looking at. When the time is right, then it'll happen.
I think last week I had an interview with Todd Sullivan and Malcolm. If the last name's complicated. They did Tommy Gun Banshee. They created that, and they also mentioned ha- them wanting to write a team up between Arik and Aurora Man. I'm like,
Oh,
just
really?
present them the idea. Yeah.
Huh. Right on.
So they're
Very
fans of
cool.
yours for sure.
Well, apparently, yeah. No, that's awesome. I love hearing that kind of stuff. I love running into fans that have ideas or questions and stuff like that. I get ideas from people that bring me ideas and are like, hey, what about? Have you ever thought about this or different things like that? And one of the things I like to use when I'm generating ideas is like local lore and myths and stuff like that. Because I mean, every town has a ghost story or a legend and things like that. So lots of times when I'm talking in communities about this, chances are somebody brings up, oh, well, have you heard the story about our community? And there's this ghost story or this legend and stuff like that. And the one time I was in a school and the librarian and I were talking before my presentation. And then after my presentation, she brings me all this photocopied information about the local legend of their community. So I have all this background research already done. I just have to look at how I can adapt that into either creating a character or creating a story. So,
That's cool. I want to see this happen.
aha, yeah, I bet you do. Well, we've got as I've been teasing you the last couple of weeks, I've got some ideas happening. So that scene might actually play out a little closer to home in an actual story.
Oh yes, because I've already had an encounter with Aurora Man and this cool
Ah,
little amazing adventures of little Aurora Man back when I was like heavier set.
that's right. That
Wanted your
that
lunch money.
that teenage Stevil up to no good already.
That's right. And I read your origin. You got the staff afterwards. So how'd you have it as a kid, man? Just saying.
That's I'm just saying, not the big two companies are the only ones that can have a multiverse with a multitude of versions of characters in them. So Little Aurora
All right.
Man is, still Aurora Man, but not necessarily when this Aurora Man was a kid. It might just
All
be
right.
an Aurora Man from an alternate reality.
Okay, cool, cool. Since that's a thing now, I guess we'll let it go. Oh, Karen would you say, well, hold on. Who would you say influenced you in your writing style, and who would be your dream illustrator for Aurora Man? Ooh,
Ooh.
Hugh Rookwood. Sorry.
Heavy hitting questions right there. Influenced me in my writing style. I have a lot of writers that were probably influential. I'd probably say like um, James Robinson and Jeff Johns definitely were big influences. But I mean, I've been a comic book fan forever, and I've read so much stuff that I don't know if there's any one particular writer that really stands out. I guess for me, when I'm writing, it means as long as I'm having fun with the story. So I kind of take my influences from wherever, as long as I'm doing really fun stuff. I guess to that end, Jason Liu would probably be another big influence on my writing style because, he wrote a fun superhero comic book set in Toronto with just, with a character that started off as just a regular guy to begin with.
Yeah,
Now,
I just
Dream,
purchased all his trades, so I'm looking forward to getting
oh,
them in the.
I love it, and my kids love it too. Like I have all of his issues that were printed, and then I have all of his trades, and um, my kids just couldn't wait when that package came. They're just like, "When can we read them, Dad?" I'm like, "Okay, well, Dad gets to read them first, and then you can have them." Something that was really cool, though, as an aside, before I get on to the rest of your question, Karen, talking about Jason Liu and Pitiful Human Lizard, when I got the trades and I was going through them, when I cracked the cover to issue 4, there was in the front page where he had signed it, he's like, hey, there's a surprise Aurora Man cameo in this book somewhere. Can you find it? So I had to dig through that last trade paperback to find out where he had stashed Aurora Man somewhere in that book. And yeah, I found it, and I was floored because I had no idea he was doing it. It was such an honor for him to recognize my character and a little shout out to me that way.
Oh, that's
So
sweet.
yeah, super pumped. Now, as far as my dream illustrator, when it comes to
Well,
Aurora
I
Man,
was lucky to get in I was lucky to get in Jason Liu's book as well. When he was introducing the that
oh,
superpowered girl,
yes, that's right.
I was the punk that started bad mouthing her, and then she just threw me into a car. But yeah, thank you, Jason.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Jason's such a great guy. I met him. He was at a show here in Saskatoon a couple years ago, and it was awesome. I was still like brand new at doing this. I was setting up my little table in Artist Alley and trying to, you know, make it look like I had interesting stuff. And he actually came and found me because he knew I was going to be there and stuff. And it was really cool just to have that chance to talk with him that way. But yeah, okay, and to the second part of your question, dream illustrator. Anybody that's looked at Aurora Man will know pretty fast that I don't have a set art team. I work with a bunch of different artists from all across Canada, which is really awesome because it allows me to have a lot of different looks and feels to my character. And I've kind of gotten to the point now where some stories I write with a specific artist in mind. I'm like, oh, this story, I really hope I can get this particular artist to draw because the story and that style will just work. As far as dream illustrators, well, Hugh Rookwood did an awesome variant for issue number 7 that just came out. An amazing job with it, and I would love to do a story piece with Hugh for sure. I could like rattle off a list. My favorite comic book artist is Tony Harris. That goes hand in hand with my love of James Robinson because they did the 90s Starman comic for DC Comics.
Ooh,
And I've just fell in love with Tony's artwork from there, and I've followed everything that he's done since that. So yeah, to have him do Aurora Man, even just like a pinup piece, would probably be like I died and gone to heaven right there. But there's just so many fantastic artists that I've worked with. James Zintel, Colin Work, Justin Schaff, who did the main design. I love working with Justin. The more I can work with him, the better. My current artist that I'm working with, Derek Burns, another fantastic artist. I love his style. And we work really well together. Like when I send him a script and he's working on it, he'll get back to me and be like, hey, I noticed on this page, you set it up this way, but I'm finding that this panel doesn't quite work the way that you had it. Can I make this change to it? And we kind of be able to play off of each other very well that way. So it's a great team up. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to start when it came to a dream illustrator. I have too many that I would want.
oh, for sure. Eve asks, "Our small town lore parts reminds me of Jonathan Rand. I shall have to check out Aurora Man. All right, we may have a
Well,
new Aurora Man.
I hope you do, Eve, and I hope you enjoy it because it's just a good, fun comic book. I take it back to being into like the Silver Age comic book style where superheroes smiled and went on crazy and wacky adventures, and it wasn't all like grim and gritty and everything. Because I mean, look outside; the world is grim and gritty enough already. We don't need that in our entertainment.
Fair enough, yeah. Hence Killer Snowman. Um, have you personified or any political figures, cough Trump, um, or plan to cover current issues like COVID? Maybe Aurora Man can get people to wear masks.
I have a special one-page Aurora Man COVID Chronicles piece that's coming out fairly shortly. James Zintel is the artist that's working on that with me right now, and yeah, it's just kind of like a public service announcement to remind people that hey, we've got this going on, and there are certain precautions that are being put in place for everybody's safety, not just for one person or other person. Um, political stuff, political stuff comes and goes. I tend to just leave that alone. It's not something that in my mind has a place in my comic book. But stuff like the COVID stuff, as a teacher, it makes sense for me to share some information and some knowledge about that kind of stuff. And since Aurora Man is also a teacher, it would make sense for him to share some stuff. Like there's a scene in that comic where he's got his staff out in between him and another person, and it makes a glowing 2 meters above it, just to remind people to keep that distance apart from people and things like that. So yeah, it's just a fun way. I mean, if I can use Aurora Man to help educate, because I believe personally that comic books are fantastic tools in education just as much as they are for entertainment, and I use them in my classrooms all the time. So if I can use my character to also help promote some education and stuff like that, it's important to me to do that.
Nice. We just have Chris Bernard saying, "Hey all."
Hey Chris, how's it going? Thanks for checking in.
Yeah, simple. You mentioned Starman. So was that one of your favorite comic book superhero characters?
I would say bar none, it is my favorite comic book superhero.
Hence
Uh,
Aurora Man.
hence Aurora Man, and some of the look, like the leather jacket piece that was part of Jack Knight's look was the leather jacket, and the he's got the staff, and Aurora Man's got the staff, and things like that. So yeah, definitely some influence in there. And yeah, it was a comic book that grabbed me because Jack Knight was an everyday guy, didn't really want to be a superhero. It was a family legacy thing, and it was well written. I loved the artwork. It was interesting. And at that time when it came out, there was a brief span where I even quit collecting comic books, but it was that comic that I just loved it so much I had to come back to collecting comics because of it.
Speaking of Starman, you know that Stargirl is now aired. The second episode is already out. Have you
Yes,
seen it?
I have not. I'm dying to, and my kids are also dying to. My daughters especially, but my girls are currently reading the Stars and Stripe series that was done,
All right.
and the and the JSA, the Justice Society book that came that she was also in after that. So they're kind of like boning up on their history of these characters and stuff like that before we actually get a chance to watch the show. But I'm dying to
Um,
watch it because it's right up my
I won't
alley.
reveal anything, but the first episode is awesome. It's got a big battle with the Justice Society in there,
Oh,
and it's just like as a fanboy, I'm freaking blown away.
yeah, well, and I've seen the images and like the costume designs and stuff like that, and I have to like hold myself back so that I'm not getting too close to spoilers or anything like that because I could just devour all the stuff that's out there for it because I haven't been this excited for a comic book show for a while. I mean, I like Arrow and the Flash and that kind of stuff, but this one's got a different feel. And the Justice Society and Stargirl, I mean, that's my jam, so that's probably why I'm so excited.
Both episodes so far are really good. They've got a lot of
Oh,
drama. They've got
fantastic.
intensity. You'll love it. Both of it. It's fantastic,
Great.
and
I
it
love to
also
hear
builds
that.
up for the next episode. So you might just binge watch it all with your family. That might be a thing to
Well,
do as well.
it's probably what's going to happen is we're probably going to end up and crush it out in like a week's time once it's all out or something, but we'll see how it goes. I don't
I
know if
also
I can
like
be
the
that
fact
I don't know if I can be that patient to wait for it to be all there, but we'll see.
I also like the fact that you're getting your girls and whatnot to read up on it, Stars and Stripes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, and I said, it's going to be a little bit before we're ready to watch the show. You should learn about who this character is and where, some of the idea is come from and stuff like that, what it's based off of.
Yep, Eve says it started. Seems good so far. So that's two of us now,
Excellent. Well,
and
yeah,
great special effects.
I've got some of my friends like Ted who helped me create Aurora Man. He's a big Starman fan, and yeah, he's been telling me without spoiling anything that Stargirl is just phenomenal. So I definitely am hearing it. I just can't wait to actually get in there and see it.
Okay, that's awesome. I just like the look on your face. You just went total fanboy.
It is. Oh, that whole thing, like Starman, Stargirl, the whole legacy around those characters. That's my stuff. That's where my love of comics came into that kind of stuff, and that's what I hope to infuse into Aurora Man, so that when people get the new Aurora Man issue, they're just that excited to find out what's going on, and or they hear the new podcast or they see the new YouTube story. I have comic strips that come out every 2 weeks in a publication that's local around here, and yeah, the people that do that publication, when I submit my new strip to them, they're sending me feedback on what they're reading before it's even published because they're getting involved in the storyline and the characters and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that to infuse that I have people that get all fanboy or fangirl over Aurora Man stuff.
I've noticed in your comic strips, because on Free Comic Book Day, you sent out the free PDF
Yeah,
of the collected works. That's more involved with you and your family as
yeah.
Aurora
There's
Man.
definitely
Your comic
there's
books,
a yeah,
the
and
comic
that's
books are more about adventures, right?
Yeah, well, and the comic strips gave me the opportunity to infuse some of that family piece into it because I feel that's part and parcel of who the character is his family and stuff. So family's important to me, and therefore important to him. And I don't know. I think it makes part of the overall feel of the comic book by having the family included in it too.
Well, for sure. We'll just Alfonso says hello.
Hey, Alfonso, how's it going, brother?
Yeah, see, that's the magic pose that we just that a magician saw, and he's now calling it the Alfonso. He's going to
Love it.
trademark it, so Alfonso might not be able to use his own name anymore.
Excellent. I'm just noticing I have the feed scrolling beside me here, and Karen asked if my kids suggest story ideas for me.
Yeah, do they?
Yeah, so I'll get that question out of the way right now. My kids are actually very involved in my creative process. Each of my kids will eventually have a character of their own in the comic book, as far as being a hero in training and stuff like that. Some really fun ideas on how some of their powers manifest or how they become a hero, because there's a really neat backstory to my life and just some small like current event stuff that happened in Humboldt, going on just about 15, well, just over 15 years ago, that I can now weave into the mythos of Aurora Man and explain why my triplet daughters have superpowers.
Triplet daughters?
Yep, yeah, because out of my five kids, the middle three are triplets, and then I have
Dude,
my
whoa.
son is the older one, and then we have a younger daughter as well.
Are they identical twin or triplets?
Um, well, if I showed you a picture of them, you would say that they are. I mean, knowing them their whole life, I know pretty good how to tell them apart to say that they aren't quite triplets. But I mean, there's enough
Okay.
similarity there that, I mean, they're all about the same height, they're all about the same body structure, the build of their body type. Their hair, we've just started them letting them dye their hair now, so now their hair is a little bit different, but otherwise their natural hair color is all the same and everything. So it's fun when people see pictures of them, older pictures of them, they are like, oh wow, yeah, no, definitely identical.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And weaving them with superpowers would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, it's great. And I have so all my kids have that. They help give me story ideas. There's a villain that I've introduced that one of my daughters actually created. She gave me the idea for and stuff. So it's a lot
Which
of fun
one?
to involve them. His name is Bison. He's a big wheat monster, so he's kind of like Sandman, but he's made of wheat kernels.
That's right. He was in issue 3, right?
Yeah, look at that. You've done your homework.
I have. I have to study my opponent.
Oh yeah, yeah. Look for those weaknesses, right?
That's right. Do you have your students make comic assignments? My son's fourth grade teacher let him hand out his as a reward for finishing his work. Super Kitty is now in their library.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do actually. I have incorporated comic books, like I said, into my classrooms in a wide variety of ranges. And yeah, letting them do an assignment as a comic book is part of it. It's just another way that they can present the knowledge that they know in a more creative avenue. And then, of course, using comic books as research and reading materials. I had a grade 12 history student who probably handed in the best history essay I've ever read. And it was only because he had used graphic novels about what he was writing to help him find the information and stuff. Because he wasn't the kind of kid that was going to sit down with a textbook or an encyclopedia type thing to do that kind of research. But reading it in a graphic novel, he found what he needed to do and wrote a fantastic essay. Like, it was just amazing.
Wow. And Eva says it was a great way to wrangle in his ADHD and help him socialize too.
Yep.
So she really helped them
Yeah,
grow.
no, it's fantastic for that kind of stuff. So it's it's pretty cool, and it's amazing how you can use them in different ways and reach different kids that way.
Okay, now yesterday I received an awesome an awesome package from you. Because it's called the Creative Bundle, which was like a original original art page from that issue number 7. I love this page. It's fantastic. The artist here is freaking phenomenal. And see, look
Yes,
at the
that's
similarities between you two. So you are Aurora Man, and I'm gonna like bank on that.
there's definitely
So
some visual
explain this.
similarities. So that the artist for that was Ken Davies. He's worked on in animation on Ren and Stimpy and stuff like that, and he's living just close nearby here. And him and I got to know each other and stuff, and we'd always talked about working together. And then when I was planning issue 7, um, it was going to be an interesting story and a pretty cool idea and stuff. And then we kind of looked at Ken and I had a story idea, and I said, well, what if we just twist the idea a little bit, and then we can fit it into what the story of issue 7 is. Now, issue 7, I don't want to give away too much, but there is some lessons that Aurora Man learns in there, as far as not giving up, and part of that comes from a pep talk that Aurora Man receives, and that's where your page is actually the first page of a 4-page pep talk that he gets. Oh, sorry, not the first page. It's the second page of it. That's right, second page in there.
Number 2.
So again, you knew your stuff faster than I did. But
I'm
yes,
not gonna correct you. You're Aurora Man. I'm just gonna use that to destroy you. But
yeah,
that's
there you go. It's all good.
wait for later.
Excellent. But yeah, so in that little pep talk story, I mean, most people, as soon as they hear Humboldt nowadays, will recognize it, right? 2 years ago, we had a tragedy happen with our junior hockey team, and it was a massive accident, and there was, a devastating time, and lots of people did all kinds of things to, in tribute and stuff. Yeah, yeah, the Broncos. There we go. That's covered issue number 2 there. Um, Lots of people released things and did things as a tribute or in memorial of them and stuff. And Aurora Man never really touched on that subject until issue number 7. And that 4-page interlude, that pep talk in there, actually has to do with that. It's kind of like a tribute to the Broncos, in light of what had happened and everything. Ken and I were both very apprehensive about how that was going to be received. Was it going to come over as the tribute that we wanted it to be, or is it going to be viewed as us trying to take advantage of that situation to help put spotlight on what Aurora Man was doing? But so far, everybody that's read it has been really happy with it and has really found that to be a touching tribute. One of the things that I did do with it is when that issue was finished, I sent a digital copy of it to one of the parents of one of the players who unfortunately had lost his life in that accident. And I said, I just wanted to share this with you. This parent and I had talked numerous times over the years, and I said, I just wanted to share this with you. I'm hoping that it comes off the way that I want it to. And she got back to me after she had read it, and she was just amazed by it and found that it was such a heartfelt piece and did exactly what I wanted it to do. And in fact, on the second anniversary of the accident this past April, she asked if she could share that digital copy with the other parents and stuff, just to pass that along as, hey, here's something that's happening. Here's a tribute that's out there to our kids and stuff. So that really meant a lot. And I know Ken and I both, when she gave us her first initial reaction, we were both just like, oh, okay, good. That meant everything right there.
It was well done. The doctor, had a little bit of tear in my eye. Oh,
Excellent.
check this out. Hugh Rookwood, Jeff
Hey,
Rocks.
oh, thanks, Hugh. That's right back at you, man. That cover work that you did was fantastic. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we're definitely going to have to get in and see what we can do about having you do some interior work too.
Yeah, draw
Because yeah,
Doctor Evil beating the heck out of Aurora Man. I'm a big fan of Hugh. He's done some cool things for me. I also ordered his paper rock scissors, which I'm still waiting to receive.
oh, yeah, that looks really cool. I want to check that one out.
Right. I worked with him up in North Bay or Thunder Bay. We were both brought up there for a convention, and he is like Superman. One of the
Well,
biggest, most awesome, nicest people you can meet.
I was so excited because at the beginning of May, actually, when we were going to launch issue 7, um, there was a comic convention in Regina, and I was going to be there as a guest, and Hugh was going to be there. So I was really
Okay.
excited to get a chance to meet Hugh because I've never met him in person. And we were actually going to do a big signing event where we're going to get a bunch of the people that worked on issue 7 all at the table together and stuff to have. That way you could come through and get everybody to sign your books all at once and stuff. And unfortunately, COVID happens and shows get postponed and canceled. And now I'm stuck waiting to meet him in person yet again and have
Oh,
to bide
wow.
my time.
It's an honor to have to. Let's do it, Jeff. It's an honor to know Hugh, man. He's a fantastic person. You
Well,
will.
and I mean, I've interacted with him quite a bit online, and I see that, and I've had lots of people say the exact same thing. Oh, when you meet Hugh, it's just he leaves an impression that's just nothing but good. So
Soon, brother.
yeah,
Soon.
I hope so, man. Now I'm noticing again,
We
as
got a
like
fan of mine that says hi Jangers. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. He's from out
yeah,
Alberta.
yeah, not too sure there. But hey,
Dave.
hey, Dave, how's it going?
Dave.
I'm looking back here. Eve has mentioned that her twins turned 17 today. So, Eve, if you want to pass along a happy birthday to your twins, 17, that's unreal. My oldest is 17, and the triplets will be 15 in August, and then our youngest is 12. So, yeah, that the whole teen life here, I'm well immersed in that. And then,
Happy birthday,
yeah,
twins.
that's right. Happy birthday, guys. Hope you guys have an amazing birthday today and a fantastic year. And she also mentions wheat when we're talking about Weissen, hoping that I'm not gluten sensitive. Well, no, Aurora Man definitely isn't gluten sensitive, so we don't have to worry about that one. Although
Oh,
when we were creating the character, we had talked about that.
sensitive. Okay. I guess I can throw that one out.
Oh, but maybe I'm just feeding you misinformation too. Mm.
It's not cool. You know, cool. Now, when I brought up the package I got for it, this was for creative kids in Saskatchewan, right?
Right. Well, one of the things that we wanted to do with issue 7 was okay, I'll step back half a step here. With issue 7, we got we as in the team Aurora Man's group, we got an awesome partner joined us, and that is a online comic shop, Big Country Comics. And what happened was Justin from Big Country Comics, we met in Saskatoon last year at the convention, and he wanted to work together. First, it was he purchased a stock of comics, so he has the most complete availability of Aurora Man comics to order online is from him. So www.bigcountrycomics.com.
Country Comics.
And then for issue 7, he was his store was paying for the printing of it, so I didn't have to worry about footing the print cost bill for it. And what he wanted to do is he wanted to have a couple of variant covers. So that's where Hugh's cover came in, is that he got Hugh to do that cover. And then he also, we got contacted by an up and coming aspiring artist, a 15-year-old girl named Sarah. And Sarah showed us her work and stuff and just wanted some feedback. And we thought it was really good. For 15, it was amazing. And what we did with that is we offered her to do a variant cover for issue 7. And in doing that, we decided, well, we've got to do something more with this and not just have it be a limited edition variant. So what we did is we decided that all the proceeds from the sales of her cover, so if you go to that website and you order her cover, all of that money gets donated. And we were like, well, where could it go? And I decided Creative Kids Saskatchewan was the place for it to go. Now, Creative Kids Saskatchewan, what it is it's kind of like an organization that will help kids be able to afford funding for arts programs, whether that's visual art, music, dance, that kind of stuff to help. Because I mean, those kind of activities are as expensive as sports activities, and not every family can afford to pay all those fees all the time and stuff. And I know when I was going to university, We use Creative Kids to help pay for my four daughters to go to dance lessons and stuff because I mean, four daughters, that's a hefty bill for dance fees and stuff. So it was a no-brainer to me that Creative Kids would be an organization I wanted to support because they helped us when we needed it. Now I can give back to them. So Sarah's cover, which actually looks like this. So
Ooh,
that's the cover that
nice.
Sarah did. Yeah, so she's 15 years old, and she did
Wow.
everything from pencils to colors on it, the whole 9 yards. So she did a fantastic job. So if you go to Big Country Comics and buy that, all the money goes to Creative Kids. And then for you, that bundle pack that you bought, what I did was I had all the art, the original art pages for issue 7, including the cover, given to me by the artists. So I sold bundle packs. So you got the comic book and a page of original art for $45, and that included your shipping. And out of that, $15 went towards Creative Kids. So in
That's
total,
a lot.
for just the bundle packs, we raised $330 for Creative Kids that way. Um,
Wow.
and
You gave everybody a deal because a comic book page, like,
oh,
wow.
pages, and especially when we get into like covers and stuff like that, they're typically not cheap. Um, but for me, it was I love original art and stuff, and this is a way to get original art to people that may not necessarily be as interested in it otherwise, and um, helping an organization that I feel is important to help, and it gets my comic book out there too, right? So you're getting like this awesome deal. You're donating to a worthy cause. You're getting a page of original art for a hell of a deal, and you're getting a great comic book, or in my mind, a great comic book.
Yep. Hugh Rookwood, Sarah Rocks. Please support people.
Yeah, for sure. No, and the response to it was huge. Like we sold out of those bundle packs sold out in a few weeks from the launch, and it was great. And that was, I was worried about that because we were launching a new issue of a comic book and we were doing all this stuff, but we weren't doing it in person at a convention. So how is the reaction going to be? But the fact that we sold out so quickly and the positive response to it, I was really happy and fortunate to have such great fans.
And Todd Lewis, I'm not sure who this gentleman is, says the talent in Saskatchewan is incredible. We definitely need it showcased more. And Jeff Burton is a perfect example of that.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Todd is actually working with me on the audio comics. He does some acting
Ooh.
and some voice acting, and he is my official voice of one of my earliest characters that I've added, an ally to Aurora Man named Yukon Cornelius. And Todd's got the perfect voice for it. So
Yukon Cornelius, and that sounds familiar.
yeah, he appeared in an old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon that came out, it seems like lifetimes ago, thanks to
Yeah.
a small hiccup in how that production company handled that. They made an error in the copyright date and ended up copyrighting it so far in the past that all the characters outside of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer became public domain as soon as it was released. So
Ooh.
I was just like, okay, I like the name Yukon Cornelius, and I added my own twist to his look and everything, and that was the first ally character that I created for Aurora Man.
Is he that Sasquatch thing?
He's a big kind of lumberjack kind of guy. He's got a big bald head and a big handlebar mustache.
Okay, okay. Because you also have a Sasquatch character, sort of.
I've got piles of interesting stuff. I'm curious which one you're looking at for sure here.
He was in he's a gray character. He was in the Adventures of Little Aurora Man.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Actually, well, and Yukon was in that one too, and there was Bumbles, his abominable
Bumbles.
snowman. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Karen's all let's go back up to Eve. Aw, thanks. I lucked out with the boy girl twins, and no, they're not identical.
uh,
Okay.
that's always a great question. Oh, you've got boy girl twins. Are they identical? Well, there's some fundamental differences here.
Couple things that might tell them apart, just saying.
Yeah, yeah, just a few that might give it away. Um, that's awesome, though. I love the fact that you have twins. Multiples are such a cool thing. And yes, best claymation ever. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. Claymation and stop motion animation, fantastic stuff. Someday down the road, let's let's put that on my to do list.
Now, right here, t-shirts. You can get Aurora Man t-shirts at tpublic.com, user Aurora Man.
That's right. You can get T-shirts, you can get stickers, you can get pillows and phone cases and coffee mugs. And as
Magnets.
of yeah, I've got magnets. We've also got on the T Public store in the midst of this COVID stuff. They've also started releasing masks. So there's an assortment of Aurora Man masks that you can get for your out and about public wear. But yeah, some
Awesome. That sounds
fantastic
good.
T-shirts. I'm wearing one right now. One of my more favorite ones.
Oh, that's a nice one. Love the design.
Yeah, that one's Tim Levins did that for me way back in our very first Kickstarter for issue 0. He created this piece for me, and Tim does lots of Batman animated books for DC. He's worked with Jay Torres on stuff here. They're the Family Dynamic from True Patriot. That's Tim Levins helped create that and stuff. He's just a great guy. Like, he did this amazing piece. It was my original convention banner. It's on my business cards. It's definitely a favorite of mine.
Wow, excellent. Thank you very much. Oh, hey, how do you pronounce this guy's name? Axiom Man?
Axiom Man.
Axiom Man. What does that mean, Axiom?
That's a good question. That one is AP Fuchs's character, so I'd have to ask him what exactly that means. In all the years that I've known him, I've never actually asked him that. I'll have to
I
put
know it
that
means
down on the
something
list.
cold, but at first I thought Axiom Man was like some lotion guy that you like rubs on its skin or it gets the hose.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you are fantastic. I would like to get this to go a bit longer, but I've got another show happening in about an hour, and I got to prep for that.
You betcha.
Thank you
Well, you
for
know
your
what?
time.
We can definitely do this another time again too, and have some
Oh,
more
for sure.
fun.
When you're yeah, we can get you on when you're about to promote another project or something. We can help you do that.
Sounds good for
That'd be
sure.
fun.
I've had a blast, so I would love to.
And just one question: how do you have time to actually write, be a teacher at home, raise 5 kids? Just how?
I have a notebook or two at my desk all the time. Actually, 3 notebooks. 2 of them that I'm currently writing stories, and one that is an idea book, so I jot down ideas. And it's just a matter of I get up early, so my house is nice and quiet, so I do comic book work before everybody else gets up, and then I have my standard teaching day from home, and I might slip a little comic work in there occasionally on breaks, and and then if something's really pressing, or if my wife is doing some recording for the audio comic and stuff like that, that we'll work on comic stuff in the evening together and stuff. So yeah, it just kind of works itself out.
Cool. So you're strict. You got your discipline happening.
Yeah, well, and with this much stuff going on, I kind of have to have a little bit of that. Otherwise, I'd never get anything done.
Okay, Eve here just says that oxium is a chemical, molecular, atomic type stuff.
Oh, I'm
Kind
gonna
of
have
how
to
I would
look.
describe it. And then she goes, I think.
Well, I'm gonna have to bug my high school, one of my colleagues that teaches in my school, that teaches the higher level chemistry stuff, and see if he's got anything that he can say about that.
Okay, and Todd Lewis says, great interview. Super enjoy you both. Thank you,
Oh,
Todd.
awesome! Thank you, Todd. Thank you so much.
He looks like he's covered up. And Karen Jang says, thanks, guys. Another entertaining show.
Well, thanks for all of your questions, Karen. It was great to be able to interact with you.
She's got my back. She's watching my shows, make sure that things go on. She asks the questions in case I forget, in case I get
Oh,
starstruck, like, oh my God, it's a Aurora Man. And, All right,
awesome.
thanks a
No,
lot.
yeah, no, this has been great. Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me to do this. I really appreciate it, and having the chance to to sit down with you and chat about, just stuff in general, not always about so much about promoting anything in particular, just everything in particular.
No, just talking to you about all the things that you do, that pretty well gets people to listen and then gives them ideas, and that will promote you. Instead of just saying, "Hi, I'm Jeff Burton, and buy Aurora Man." Just buy Aurora Man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. No, I like having this casual conversation kind of interview piece. It's a little more informal, and it allows me to, well, allows the viewers to get to know who I am.
right. And so you still say you're not a superhero. I say otherwise. It's kind of like The Boys, where you have the real stories, the real adventures, and you put it in a comic book, and everyone just thinks it's a fictional story. But say what you want. I mean, there's no cameras in Saskatchewan because it's way out there, and
Exactly.
yeah. Any
Awesome.
last words for your fans out there?
Just you guys stay safe. Take care of each other out there. Remember, everybody deserves some kindness. We don't necessarily know what everybody's story is and what they're going through. So even if they rub you the wrong way, just remember to give them a little bit of, show them with kindness instead of sarcastics and biting commentary.
But that's my
Uh,
thing.
I know that's your thing. I need you to be good to people.
All right, I'll work on it. All right,
Awesome.
thanks a lot,
Another,
Jeff.
otherwise, yeah. Thank you. You guys keep having fun. Keep being awesome.
All right, take care. Just put you in
Yeah,
the
you too.
waiting room for a sec. All right, guys, thanks a lot for listening to my show. This afternoon, in about less than an hour, I'm going to have Patricia Summerland. She's the original Glow Girl. She's also a Playboy cover girl. She's an actress, athlete, model, radio host. I mean, original Glow as well. I mean, that's what we've got our attention. She's going to be a fantastic guest. She'll be on at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So just tune in for that, and hope to see you then. And bye bye. Yes, do you want? Yes, I did. I pressed the end broadcasting.